Greg Mackintosh, how's it going with you these days? Vallenfyre's got a new album coming out.
Yeah, it's all going good. Yeah, it was a bit stressful the other day because I've just moved house like 2 days ago. But no, it's all going well with the Vallenfyre thing. I mean, a lot of people wanting interviews, which has got to be a good thing, right? Yeah.
So, Greg, how many interviews you been pulling off these days?
I think I'm doing like about 7 or 8 a day. I've been doing that for the last, I don't know, 3 weeks or something.
What do you think of the music industry as today, when you got to do all these interviews? Do you find it's different that when you did it a while back?
Not really, no. I mean, you used to travel everywhere, though, to do the interviews a long time ago, before the internet and stuff. You used to do press trips. So, a lot of your, budget from the record label went on flights here and there doing interviews and stuff,
And now, yes, we are on this wonderful thing called the internet. What do you think of this? Is it grabbing new fans for Vallenfyre? YouTube, all this stuff that we have now on the internet. How's that working for you guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a lot easier for new bands to be heard and things and contacted these, with the advent of the internet. But it kind of it's a double-edged sword, I think a lot of the smaller scenes, like the early death metal scene and stuff, it was kind of a family atmosphere, and I think a lot of that gets lost because of the sheer amount of bands now,
If Fragile King, how would you describe your guitar tone in this album?
I guess on the rhythm guitars that I was trying to, we were trying to get a really dirty sound. We wanted to get something that had a vibe of like the mid to late 80s, extreme music sound. So somewhere between, the like Hellhammer, Celtic Frost, and the early Swedish sound, something like that, and maybe some of the early English sounds as well, like early Napalm Death and stuff like that. So, but on the lead sound side of things, it doesn't matter what effects I tend to use. It always ends up sounding just like me playing guitar. So I don't know. I can't explain that one. It's just, I guess it's just a certain style or whatever. Trying to get it as, the lead sound as, I don't know, mournful sounding as possible, I guess, something like that,
It could be as well your fingers that produce all this stuff, and it's not, the amps.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. I couldn't change my playing style if I tried,
Now, reproducing it, the guitar tones to the 1980s, what type of amplification you using to do this? Because today I'm sure it's easier now than it was 10 years ago to reproduce sounds.
Yeah, I mean, when we were in, we had 3 amps. We had an oldish Peavey head, and we had a Marshall JCM 800 and an amp from Black Star as well, which is like a modern amp company that was set up by a lot of people who used to work at Marshall. So we just switched between those 3 heads, trying out different sounds, and one amp was better for lead stuff, one amp might be a bit better for rhythm stuff, things like that.
I'm sure the JCM 800 won the battle sometimes.
It did, yeah, and we used a lot of pedals as well. We were trying different pedals out, and like the MXR phaser with the one big knob on. We kind of used that quite a lot on some of the more sort of electroacoustic-y sounds.
Now, Greg, let's say for amp simulations, did you ever look into that, like how well they do them today? Just rack units?
Yeah, I kind of follow that. I follow that quite a lot, but I'm still not convinced. I mean, obviously, when I'm demoing stuff, it's quicker to plug into an amp simulation rather than mic something up. but I'm still not convinced by them. Even with, I use various amp sims to do demos, and even when I put it through an impulse response, reverb to kind of recreate a cab sound, it's still not brilliant, But I think for bass, there's some pretty good simulation things out there. There's that, what's it called? It's a pedal. Oh God!
Like those Boss GT10s or something?
No. It's like just one
pedal.
It's just a bass. It's like a bass overdrive with an amp sim built in.
Okay.
And it sounds great. Sorry, my brain's not working too well. You can get a rack version as well. That's like a silver-coloured rack. I'm sorry, I forget the name of it now, but I think the guitar stuff is not very good, but there's some pretty good bass sim, amp sim stuff out there,
And Greg, talk to me about the recording session to doing this A Fragile King.
We tried to do it as close to how we would have done it back in the 80s, We kind of did it fairly DIY style. A sound engineer that I know, we went to his house and put a couple of cabinets in one room and put. He had a studio in his house, and we put the amp heads in another room, and just tried things out basically. And once we got guitar sound that we liked, we just play. We tried to do it all in no more than one or two takes, and we wanted to kind of capture the vibe of, what the vibe of the songs that happened in the late 80s, early 90s, and sometimes you have to just commit to tape is what I used to say. It's something that nobody says these days, but, when people record in recording studios today, they're just recording clean, they record just a line in, and then decide on the guitar sound at the mix or something like that. And with this, we tried to do it completely opposite, like the real old school way, where you just find the sound you like and record it, and that's it, and run with it. And somewhere along the way, it got all mixed up and went ass backwards, and now everyone does it the other way around now.
And also, your vocal takes, was it very well for you?
Yeah, it went pretty good. I mean, I think all the vocals were done in about 3 days or something like that. So yeah, it was not that not as hard as I thought it would be, but we did spend a lot of time practicing and stuff beforehand, getting comfortable with a certain vocal style and making sure that it fit the music well, and that you could hear what the words that I was singing and things like that. So I think before you go into record stuff, you should practice a lot so that you don't waste time in the studio.
Right. And I see on the official website, you guys got a limited edition album, Desecration. It's very good sounding.
Oh, right. That's an EP. It's like a 2-track EP.
Two-track EP.
Yeah, it's limited, just on vinyl, 7-inch. The album is called A Fragile King. That comes out on 1st of November. But the EP was released kind of anonymously because we wanted to just see what people thought without being biased one way or the other, because, I'm from Paradise Lost, Hamish from My Dying Bride, Adrian at the Gates and all. That can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing because, not everyone likes those bands. And we wanted people to hear Vallenfyre for the first time without having any expectations or, any history to it,
Would you say it's the resurrection of LPs nowadays?
I don't know. It seems that a lot of people are getting back into vinyl. I think there is something that vinyl has that CD doesn't. Some kind of crisp quality to it that CD somehow loses. I don't really know what it is, but a lot of it's a nostalgia trip as well.
Right.
For people. But I don't know. I mean, it's more of a collector's thing for me personally. You know, I have quite a lot of vinyl, but you know, I collect it more than I do play it. You know.
The people save it for the artwork mostly.
Yeah, yeah, because it's Well, I come from an era in music where you couldn't wait to get like a picture disc or a gatefold album, you know, and you look at the artwork really in depth and stuff. And yeah, I mean that gets kind of lost when people are just downloading MP3s and stuff. So it's I think there's still a place for vinyl, you know.
For sure. And Greg, do we have tour dates lined up anytime soon?
Well, the rest of this year, everyone has different things on. Like Hamish has to do something with My Dying Bride, and we have to record a Paradise Lost album in November. But in January, we're going to start rehearsing all the Vallenfyre stuff again, and February we'll start doing some club shows. There's already some festivals in Europe that want to book us. But my main dream for Vallenfyre is I really want to come and tour the States everywhere, because when I've been doing these interviews for Vallenfyre, I didn't know this before, but I've realised that, you know, a lot of people in America missed out on that first wave of European death metal, and they seem quite hungry for it now. They want to know more about it. They want to hear more about it, and I think a band like Vallenfyre would kind of bridge that gap pretty well, you know. And you know, I'm just hoping when it comes out on November 1st, that A, people will like it, and then B, some local promoters try and book us over there so we can do a tour, you know.
Great stuff, Greg. Been a pleasure talking to you, and luck and success. Hopefully will fall your way.
Okay, thank you very much, Jason. Cheers, my pleasure.
All right, you have a good one.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.